Okay, good afternoon, grade 11. Can you see me? Can you
Yes,
see me?
ma'am.
Okay, so we are now in week 3, week 3 for this quarter 2.
Yes, ma'am.
Still, we are now in module 2. Okay, week 3. I have here a question to all of you guys. Are organisms immortal? Anyone? Are organisms immortal? Yes or no? Who wants to answer? Chrislene, let's have Chrislene. Are organisms immortal?
No, ma'am.
Why no?
Yes, ma'am.
Why no, Chrislene? Let's have first Chrislene, then Jessron later. Why do you say no, Chrislene?
Wow.
Bakit hindi immortal ang mga organisms? You said no. Yes, Chrislene?
Talaga, ma'am.
Okay, so let's have Jessron. What about Jessron? What is your answer, Jessron? Are organisms immortal?
Yes, ma'am.
Why yes? Bakit yes?
Ma'am, because organisms can hear themselves apart.
Okay.
Kaya dagdag ko rin
O kaya daagbyag uray. Okay, so according to Jessron, yes ma'am, because they can live. Sabi ni Jessron. Okay, so the answer to that one is eto. Organisms aren't immortal. Why? Bakit kaya? That is because organisms become old and eventually they die. So, who will make sure that they will still exist in nature? Okay? A simple and efficient system in us makes sure that the species will be perpetuated to continue to nature even after we die. But, is this possible? Possible ba to? What can you see in the illustration? Yes, Angel. Bakit? No, in the sense that the cow is giving birth into a chicken. Is that possible? Definitely no, because cow and a chicken are not of the same species. Okay? So this is not possible. So it is very important for us to know how our life will continue and still exist in nature. So we must know the reproductive system, which is very important to all species, to all the continuation of this species. So, where do we begin? We need first to understand reproduction. When we say reproduction, reproduction is the process by which animals produce offsprings for the purpose of continuing the species. And simply, when we say reproduction, we have here re means again, production, making, or simply making something again. So that is reproduction. So our lesson for today is the lesson 2 in your module 2. For week 3, we have reproduction of representative animals. And our learning competency, at the end of this lesson, you will be able to describe the different ways on how representative animals reproduce. So we will be dealing about animal reproduction. We are products of billions of years worth of evolution, and we know this much thanks to reproduction. Through reproduction, nature has selected organisms that have a gene pool that is escape of surviving and thriving. Animals have both adapted and evolved to better fit for their environments thanks to variation. So, in reproduction, we have two types of reproduction. As you can see in the illustration, we have here the asexual reproduction and the sexual reproduction. So, reproduction for asexual and sexual are divided into their different types. So, for asexual, we have fission, fragmentation, and budding. For sexual reproduction, we have external fertilization, internal fertilization, which is divided into oviparous, viviparous, and ovoviviparous. So, let us start on asexual reproduction. Organisms are unique, diverse, and have equally features that help them survive in their environment. So, this feature or one way for these organisms to survive is through asexual reproduction. But what is this asexual reproduction? When we say asexual reproduction, a single parent produces offspring, does not need sex cell, and the product is identical to its parent. So, an asexual offspring is genetically unique from its parent. And sa asexual reproduction it does not need a sex cell. It does not need a sperm cell or egg cell to reproduce. Meaning, in asexual reproduction, you do not need to have a partner. Even though you are single, you can reproduce. So that is for asexual reproduction. There are also advantages and disadvantages in asexual reproduction. First advantage for asexual reproduction, it only needs a short time. And we have here less energy. So that is the advantage. You can reproduce in a short time with the use of a little amount of your energy. Next, disadvantage is it lacks genetic variation. Meaning, if it lacks genetic variation, the product in asexual reproduction has less surviving chances. Okay? Less yung survival ng asexual reproduction products. So that is for asexual reproduction. Aside from asexual reproduction, we have here its types. So first type, we have the binary fission. Binary fission occurs in a single-celled organisms. It is when a parent cell divides itself into two equal parts and create an offspring. So as you can see here on the illustration, the circle one, the whole one is the parent cell. But because of binary fission, it is equally divided into two parts. Okay, we have here two daughter cells, which are the same also to the parent cell. Okay, so we call that one as a binary fission. Binary fission produces an exact copy through mitosis. And we have here types of binary fission. We have regular, longitudinal, and transverse. So I want you to look how binary fission occurs. So we have here a figure. So this one is a figure of binary fission. As you can see, we have here the parent cell, which is the bacteria. Let's have a sample bacteria. So this bacteria undergo DNA replication. Then, because of binary fission, the cell starts to separate into two equal parts. So we have now here the two daughter cells. The new daughter bacteria, which is similar to their parent bacteria. So we call that one as binary fission. We also have here examples of binary fission. So we have here amoeba, trypanosome, flagellate, and paramecium. All of these organisms or bacteria undergo binary fission. Okay? Is it clear? Okay, so next is budding. So we have here budding happens when a parent organism grows a bud attached to its body. When the bud is developed, it will detach itself from the parent and form a new organism. So examples are yeast and jellyfish. In budding, daughter cell forms from outgrowth or bud of a parent. So from the bud, it will form a new organism as it grows. So example is the hydra. So as you can see in the illustration, we have here the bud. So this bud uniformly grows, and as it grows older, it will be separated or detached to its parent. So this is now the new individual or new organism formed in budding. So that is what we call budding. Another one is also this one. Again, there is a bud. When the bud grows, it will detach to the parent organism. So we call that type as budding. We also have this one, another type of asexual. Fragmentation. This happens when an organism is split into fragments and each fragment develops into a new organism. So we call this one as fragmentation. It occurs in simple organisms such as starfish and flatworm. So as you can see in this illustration, we have here illustration. This organism is being cut at the middle. So what happened? It grows into another organism. So we have now two organisms out of the being cut fragment of an organism. So we call that one as fragmentation. Fragmentation is also related to what we call regeneration. The more complex the organism, the harder it is to generate. So, in regeneration, if an animal is broken into pieces, it will grow into a new individual. So, example for that, because fragmentation is related to regeneration, we have here lizards. They grow their missing parts. Another one is, we have here the starfish. In starfish, if this part of a starfish being cut, it will grow, and the cut part of the starfish will eventually form another starfish. That's why fragmentation and regeneration are being together. So those are examples of type in asexual reproduction. So again, what are the types of asexual reproduction being mentioned? We have, anyone? Okay, very good, Althea. So those are types of asexual reproduction. Let's now go to the sexual reproduction. When we say sexual reproduction, in sexual reproduction, a male and female gamete is needed in order to produce an offspring. In most instances, there is a male and female organisms to produce the gametes, but this isn't always the case. So in this sexual reproduction, finding a partner for sexual animals can sometimes prove difficult. So as an adaptive mechanism, an evolutionary solution, some animals exhibit hermaphroditism. So when we say hermaphroditism, this is when an organism has both male and female reproductive system. So we call that one as hermaphroditism. This is common among sessile or stationary animals, and hermaphroditism animals may or may not have a partner for fertilization occur. But we will not discuss about that one since we will be dealing only to the types of sexual reproduction. So let's proceed to this one. Sexual reproduction needs male and female gametes, or simply it needs the sperm and the egg cell to fuse during fertilization. So we have here the sperm cell and the egg cell. So if this sperm cell and egg cell unite together, they will develop a zygote which develops into an animal whose genetic information is a combination of the parent genes. So yan si sexual reproduction. There are different mechanisms of sexual reproduction. So we have here two types of fertilization. So these fertilizations are our focus. We have here internal and external fertilization. So internal fertilization occurs when the fusion of gametes is inside the female of the body. So take note of that one, inside the female. But for external fertilization is the opposite, where fusion of gametes is outside the body of the female organism. So, internal and external fertilization. Let's first discuss for the external fertilization. In external fertilization, the union of egg and sperm occurs outside the female reproductive. Examples, we have species, bonyfish, and amphibian. So, from the word X, outside the female reproductive tract. So as we can see in the illustration, we have here amphibians, fishes. And I want you to look at this one. How does these amphibians undergo external fertilization? So this one is a frog. So as you can see this part, we have here the eggs of the frog being induces or being released outside its body. So, in this illustration, there is a clasping of male frog which induces the female frog to release eggs. Okay? Wherein the male frog will also release his or its sperm, and the sperm will fertilize the egg cell outside the body of the female. So meaning the eggs will be able to fertilize by the sperm cell in the water. So that is what we call external fertilization. But there is a risk in this part. So you can see there are many eggs, right? These eggs may not meet the sperm cell because it might be eaten, or there will be environmental conditions will change, which lead to the unfertilization of the eggs. So meaning some will survive, some will die. So not all the eggs being released by the female will be developed into a tadpole or into a frog. So that is what we call external fertilization. Aside from that, sa frogs then, we have here this one. Most eggs will develop in the water, but others carry them on their back. So they carry their sperm cell and egg cell. So that is for mostly on amphibians. That is for external fertilization. Next is in the internal fertilization. Internal fertilization is the union of egg and sperm occurs within the female reproductive tract. Animals that undergo in this type of reproduction produce offsprings in any of the following ways. So we have here oviparity, ovoviviparity, and viviparity. So, internal means inside the reproductive tract. So, let us first discuss oviparity. So, what can you see in the illustration? There are we have the birds. So, oviparity, after the eggs are fertilized internally, it would complete its development outside the mother's body. The egg would receive its nourishment through its yolk. So, meaning, in oviparity, we have there the presence of eggs being fertilized internally but developed outside the body of the mother. Examples are we have here the chicken, birds, and some reptiles also. So that is oviparity. Okay? Next is the viviparity. So viviparity, again, the eggs are developed internally and receive nourishment directly from the mother's blood through placenta rather than from the yolk. So, in other terms, when we say viviparity, this is the reproduction or fertilization of mammals, most of the mammals, okay, including humans. Viviparity is also called as the live birth, okay, because eggs are being fertilized by the sperm cell internally and develop internally or inside the body of the mother. So that is viviparity. The last one is the ovoviviparity. In ovoviviparity, the eggs are also fertilized internally and receive its nourishment through its yolk. However, eggs will complete its development within the mother. They are then fully developed when they are hatched and released by the mother. So meaning in this ovoviviparity, eggs are fertilized inside. So the egg with yolk is also being nourished inside the body of the mother. It will develop within the mother, and after the egg will develop, it will hatch and release by the mother. So that is ovoviviparity. What are examples of this one? Examples are this. So we have here seahorse. Okay? So in this portion, seahorses are being the eggs of the female seahorse are being transferred into the father seahorse. Okay? And these eggs will develop inside the body of the male or of the father seahorse. And during fertilization or after the eggs develop, it will be released by the father seahorse. So, eto na siya. So, that is an example of OBB parity. Though it is not in the mother's body, pwede din siya sa lalaki. Okay? That is only for the seahorses. Okay? To sum it up, we have here this one. Internal fertilization, egg is fertilized inside the female body, while external fertilization, egg is fertilized outside female body. So, male gamete is discharged onto the female gamete, and external naman, male gamete is discharged onto the female gamete. Success rate nila for survival in internal, since the offspring is developed inside the body of the female, it will have more chances of surviving even in harsh environment because it is protected inside the body. Sa external, we have has a less chance of survival because the offspring develops without protection in the environment. Okay? Just like for the eggs of the frogs. So, internal fertilization, we have three types: oviparity, viviparity, ovoviviparity, and few offsprings are produced. External fertilization survives best in moist aquatic environment, has a greater number of offsprings produced. Okay, so let's have a question. Tell me what type of sexual reproduction undergo and the following animals. Bird. What type of reproduction? Sexual reproduction. Is it internal or external? Okay, internal. What type of internal? Okay, oviparity because birds lay eggs. Very good. Next, giraffe. Okay, viviparity. Internal, viviparity. Very good. Lorraine. Next, frog. Okay, external fertilization. Very good, PJ and Lorraine again. What about this one? Dog. Internal. What type of... Okay, internal viviparity. Very good. Next, this one, seahorse. Okay, internal oviviparity. Very good. Last one, duck. Okay, internal oviviparity. So, is it clear yung sexual reproduction natin? Okay, so another one. Question. Why do you think there is a difference in the types of fertilization among animals? Why do you think there is a internal fertilization and external fertilization? Yes, Lorraine? Okay, very good, Lorraine. So, sabi ni Lorraine, because organisms are of different species, because some are mammals, amphibians, reptiles, and all of them undergo into different fertilization or reproduction. Very good, Lorraine. What about Christian? Christian. Yes, Christian. Yes, Christian. Okay, so very good, Christian. So, some animals produce asexual reproduction. Some animals undergo sexual reproduction. Very good. Another question is this one. We have the tube babies, right? Which do you consider the tube babies? Is it sexual reproduction or asexual reproduction? Ay, baliwag. Is it internal reproduction or external reproduction rather? We have the tube baby, right? So, asan siya doon? Is it internal reproduction or external reproduction? Yes, Kevin Ryle. Internal. Bakit internal? Tube babies. So, internal. So, Kevin is correct. It is internal. Pero bakit sila tinawag na tube babies? Ah, it is in the fallopian tube. Okay, Lorraine, aside from that one. So, let's take consider about the three types of internal reproduction. We have there the oviparity, and viviparity. So, let's relate that one into the tube baby. Yung sinasabi nila. Okay, so you think about of this, right? So this is one of your assignment. Okay? You write your answers in your answer sheets about my question. Let's now proceed to the next. Uh, in reproduction also, we have here factors that affect reproductive success. Why? Because the success of animal reproduction does not only end when egg is fertilized. It ends when the offspring can fully grow and eventually reproduce as well. So we call that one as success if the offspring will grow and then reproduce again. As mentioned before, reproduction is the key to survival. Without reproduction, we will become extinct. And take note, guys, just like in the first part, we are not immortal. We need to reproduce in order to continue our species. Because we will eventually die. And we need to make sure, I'm sorry, make sure that our species continue through reproduction. So listed here are the different factors that affect reproductive success. So first is the factor 1, reproduction. In animal kingdom exists a food chain. At the top of the food chain, there are animals we call apex predators. while at the bottom of the food chain are animals that are weak and easily hunted by predators. Apex predator are animals that hunt and feed on the other animals to survive, eventually reproduce. These predators are never or rarely hunted by any other animal. On the other hand, since prey is easily hunted, their offspring is always compromised and in danger. Just like, for example, in the eggs of the fishes and frog, which are being fertilized outside their body. So meaning, these eggs or these offsprings are prone to predation. Okay? So, the success for prey to reproduce